Hey, I'm Bill Powers, and I want to thank you first for checking out our website. If you are on this page, you have questions most likely about drug charges, specifically trafficking in drug charges. That's what we refer to in the profession. Trafficking, I guess you could be charged with trafficking and other things, but we normally are referring to trafficking of both legal and illegal substances. Now, this is a complicated area of law. It tends to be what we refer to as statutorily based. Now, possession of drugs, illegal drugs, and even legal drugs in an unlawful manner is one thing. Trafficking is something that enhances the level of punishment and therefore the seriousness of any particular type of drug case. In North Carolina, now it's important to distinguish that we're talking about North Carolina state law. There are trafficking charges in federal court, which is United States Code, and there are also trafficking charges in North Carolina State Court. So I'm referring to North Carolina State Court type of charges. And there are a bunch of them. They're in the general statutes. They're on our website if you want to take a look at them. And they are offenses that are defined by the people on Jones Street. The legislators in the North Carolina General Assembly have said that if this, then that. All right, so think of just the most simple term. If this is true, then this is that's what we're looking at. So trafficking charges oftentimes are broken up into categories, both in the type of the substance or the class of the substance, as the case may be, and then the amount, however that's measured. So we see trafficking charges from just about every type of spectrum of drug there is. So I'll start with the most basic one. Let's say there's trafficking in marijuana. Now, marijuana is a type of offense. A lot of people say, well, it's legal in a lot of different states. Well, it ain't legal here except for very, very few exceptions, and that's a whole other area of law. But if we're not talking about a medical marijuana type of deal, we're talking weight. We're normally talking a certain amount that if you put it on a scale, it goes over a certain amount of weight. And the General Assembly says if it's this amount of weight to this amount of weight, it's trafficking level 1. And if it's this amount of weight, which is more, and this amount of weight, it may be trafficking level 2. And as you can see, trafficking level 3. Here's what's important to realize about trafficking in North Carolina. It doesn't matter if you've never been in trouble before. I'm not saying that's fair. I'm explaining what the law is, not what I think the law should be. And so people call up and say, oh, I've never been in trouble before. I had no idea. I didn't even know it was that amount. I just had more, for whatever reason. The courts really don't take in consideration, and when I say the courts, I mean the law doesn't take in consideration your prior history. The sentencing is determined by the amount you have. We see this with LSD, lysergic acid, where there's a certain amount of dosage units. So unlike marijuana, it's how many hits there were. We see this with opiates, we see this with benzos, we see this with the K-pens and all the street terms, where it's how many hits of acid did you have, how many pills did you have. Sometimes in trafficking cases it's weighed, and sometimes it's just by dosage units that's determined how many you have in a baggie. I think it's fair to say that they're really serious charges. And in trafficking cases, you're not really looking at probation, you're looking at an active jail term. You may be looking at fines as low as $50,000, I know as low as, and it goes up from there. It can go into the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's set by statute. So if you're looking at a trafficking charge, or you have a family member that's been charged with trafficking, it's really, really important to get up with a lawyer as soon as you can and hope that you can understand and hope that there's something out there that there's availability of a defense. Now, as far as trafficking federal charges, very similar. It goes by a certain weight, but the state has different types of classes and categories of drugs than the feds do. And there are times where a case could start in state court and end up in federal court. It tends to be, at least in the Western District of North Carolina, the greater amounts of trafficking, and then you have conspiracies to traffic, and then you see weapons charges and things like that. Trafficking charges in North Carolina, state court charges, oftentimes also involve other lesser included type of offenses. Sometimes we see trafficking with habitual felon. Sometimes we see trafficking and weapons charges. Sometimes we see trafficking and other misdemeanor types of charges. And you may have issues regarding tax stamps and getting a bill from the Department of Revenue or whatever saying, hey, you owe us money. And yes, they do charge tax for you owing, possessing or an illegal substance. It's complicated, it's serious, it's not always frankly fair, but it's what the law is in North Carolina. Give us a call. We offer a free confidential consultation. We don't charge to talk to you, and what you tell us remains in this office. Only until and unless we're retained and you authorize us do we start trying to explain what's going on to other people in the system. This is a tough area of law. This is an area of law where negotiation may involve the different levels. Instead of a level 2 or level 3, maybe you're trying to negotiate a level 1. Maybe you're arguing about the amount and how it was weighed. Was it actually, in marijuana cases, were you including a clod of dirt? And we also see manufacturing type of cases, especially with marijuana cases. In Western North Carolina, we've seen a lot of the amphetamines, methamphetamine manufacturer type of charges. Gracious, call us. Well, we're here to help. 704-342-HELP. That's why our telephone number is what it is. You can email us. I'd encourage you to check out our website a little bit. Trafficking cases are unique. Trafficking cases are special in both North and South Carolina, and in North and South Carolina federal courts as well. And we can sit down with you, and if we can help you out, we'll let you know. If we need to refer you to somebody, we'll tell you that too. Look forward to hearing from you. Thanks for watching our video.